Hi, I'm Simon Stapleton, attorney in Virginia, and what I would like to talk to you about today are the reasons to have a last will in place. Now, sometimes I hear folks focusing on the cost of having a will, but really what we should be focusing on instead is all the time and money that you're actually going to save by having a will. Not to mention all the hassle that you're going to save your loved ones by having a will in place. Because without one, your loved ones are going to have to go through a court process in Virginia known as intestacy, which can be very expensive, there can be delays, and just as importantly, the problem with intestacy is now you've lost control, because instead of you deciding, the court gets to decide who is going to administer your estate, your assets. As well as under intestacy, the court also decides, not you, who's going to get your assets, who's going to get your stuff. So, conversely, with a will, you appoint an executor who's going to administer the estate for you and who's going to receive your assets. And in some cases, what may be more important to you is not just who gets your stuff, but also who doesn't get your stuff. And then, very important, if you have minor young children involved, a will is critically important because what that document does is it names a guardian, the person who's going to have legal custody of your young children. And you can state who you would want to have temporary custody, as well as if you pass away, who is going to bring up your children. Because again, you want to make that decision, not have a court decide who's going to bring up your kids. Other things that we don't necessarily think about right away: pets. Fido or Bruno, who do you want to take care of him or her if you were to pass away? And then things like digital assets, social media, all those things that you have out there online, who's going to take care of those digital assets? And what most people want to avoid is to minimize any disputes among family members. So a will does that. It minimizes the chances of family fighting about what in each individual thinks you would have wanted. Instead of that, the will actually specifies what you do want, so there can be no argument about that. Don't have family members, or you have family members that you don't want to receive things, but perhaps instead you have your favorite causes, charities, or other organizations that you want your money to go to. Perhaps you have a domestic partner. Very important to note that he or she, under Virginia law, would receive nothing unless you specifically provide in a written document, in a last will, what you want that person to receive. And then many folks like to express their wishes, their final wishes, funeral directions. Do you want to be buried or do you want to be cremated? Are you interested in being an organ donor? Laying out all those things ahead of time is equally important. So a will is not expensive. It's easy to do. It gives you peace of mind, and your loved ones will thank you later on for doing it. But it's really critical to use an attorney to make sure that the legal formalities are followed and that the will is done correctly. Because the last thing that you want to do is to go through this process only to find out later on you have a will in place, but you tried to do it yourself and it turns out that it's not legally valid. So, in order to avoid that unfortunate circumstances, call us today. Again, my name's Simon Stapleton, Stapleton Elder Law. You can reach us at area code 434-293-7788. Give us a call today and we'll make sure that we have a valid will in place for you. Give you that peace of mind. Thanks for listening today.